Are you looking for good new tycoon sims, but you also love building? Well, this is a list that you want to watch because I'm going to show you some big names and hidden indie gems today. It's just so satisfying building up from almost nothing to becoming the biggest business around. I've recently listed 160 new simulation games for the year, a massive undertaking, but there's still more out there. Stick around and you'll know more about sim games than everyone else. For a throwback to the 90s, Car Park Capital. This is a newly announced car park building game where you literally quite have to pave paradise and put up a parking lot. But the main thing here is it's such a 90s throwback, not just in terms of the visual style, but also the vibes of everything. The car industry needs you to design and build the greatest car parks that this simple town has ever seen, and that satirical, cynical message and approach to things is just so very 90s. If you were there in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. Like, think about Theme Hospital and Theme Park, and they tended to have this very, we're gonna screw the local people and we're gonna become massive millionaires by exploiting the land. Yes, someone called Captain Planet. Anyway, we're gonna be using propaganda to convince the people of this town to pay you to destroy their town. That's right, you're gonna fight people who see through your messaging and they start rioting and protesting and stuff, but not to worry, we're gonna be able to get everyone on our side at the end of the day. It's a real-time simulation with hundreds of vehicles and citizens walking around and driving around doing stuff. You buy land, you demolish homes, you build those parking lots, and you asphalt up the entire area. Each citizen is actually simulated with their own thoughts, which is very, roller coaster tycoon type of approach. And you're tracking all of the stuff that's happening with the Statomatic. If you're a tycoon game lover, then you love watching numbers and graphs go up. And you have to deal with rival public transport. You don't want trains or walkable towns. You need to make sure that cars are the only way to get around. Just at first glance, this really pokes at my nostalgic heart. You can totally see this game being released in 96, 97. So Car Park Capital, it's tugging at my heartstrings, and maybe it will do the same for you. Now for today's tycoon building game sponsor, Above the Snow. Click the link below to check it out on Steam. Set in the 1960s, this is a game where you build up a resort in the Alps, mixing survival gameplay with business management mechanics, with a region map for you to explore the snowy peaks. Complete with over 20 hours of story-rich gameplay, you can play through the narrative or in more sandbox, creative, and endless modes if you want to focus on just the gameplay. You'll be designing trails, welcoming guests to your resort, running rescue missions to save stranded alpinists, and building up to be a cozy paradise amongst the snow. You can customize a lot here, from your interior facilities with heaters, furniture, rooms, decorations, and services, to exterior management stuff like vehicles, equipment, resource logistics, trail mapping, hazard mitigation, and more. You never know what kind of person is crazy enough to embark on these mountain treks, so all kinds of weird and bold personalities could walk through your front door. Some can, of course, fend for themselves, but many have maybe frostbitten off more than they could chew. Overall, this is somewhat of a twist on the tycoon sim type game, incorporating some survival colony sim gameplay, but still being about catering to the customers. Visually, this does look good, like everything just looks nice, and the level gameplay is kind of interesting. Levels as in your building and structure has multiple floors, so you're going up and down on your building itself, but then there's also the yard view, you could say, which is the stuff around your resort, and then you can zoom out even further for the whole map view. So there's all these layers to the gameplay where you're managing things really up close, but also zoomed out and far away, and that kind of mix of gameplay really makes you feel like you're in control of all of these little things, which means if stuff goes wrong, it's kind of your fault. You're in charge of it, you better save those mountaineers. But also make sure they're comfortable when they arrive at your resort. The game is out now with a launch discount, so have a peek and see if this is a mountain you want to live on. Remember to click the link down below and wishlist the game if you want to keep an eye on it. Thanks to Above the Desk and Wandering Wizard for sponsoring, and thank you for the support. For another throwback, Under Par Golf Architect. Not my favorite title for the game, but just at first glance, this essentially looks like 3D Sim Golf. If you don't know Sim Golf, it was a fascinating business tycoon game from way back, which mixed in a lot of unique gameplay approaches, where you generally build up a golf course and you're catering to all your golf customers, and you get to design the courses and your whole environment and resort and decorations and buildings and all this good stuff, but you can also play golf yourself, where you can actually play through the courses that you design, which was one of the best parts of Sim Golf. And for a long time, for decades, people have been wanting a new version of Sim Golf. Under Par Golf Architect is quite clearly trying to be a new 3D Sim Golf. You are going in as a golf architect, you're building and managing your own golfing paradise, and you're sharpening your own strategy by designing incredible courses to challenge the most demanding golfers, but also maybe not too hard where it's just frustrating and they rage quit. You don't want them to do that as well. That's why running through your own courses might be a good way to test it. This one does have a free demo, and it's released early in 2026, so you're going to be managing your quirky staff, you're holding tournaments, you're building your course and designing stuff as well. So it's all about this, and really it is just 3D Sim Golf, and I do hope this succeeds, though one big success for Sim Golf was its personality and style. Whereas Under Par Golf Architect, at first glance, it kinda looks like just more of an indie thing, but if the gameplay can hold up, then maybe you can get into it either way. Getting wet is Aquapark Tycoon. This is a water park simulation tycoon game where you're designing and customizing water slides, pools, saunas, and all other liquid attractions. You're using your creativity and also business acumen to not just express yourself creatively, but also you need to make money, because that's what tycoon games are about. You gotta attract customers to your park and have them splish splash their cash into your pocket. Now, there are various water attractions. Obviously, slides are a big thing. Pools, of course, that's an obvious one. Saunas are an interesting addition. But there's also co-op gameplay. Now, that's a bit different. There's a co-op gameplay mode where you can join forces with other tycoons and build and manage the most extravagant water parks the world has ever seen by strategizing together and dividing up your management duties to optimize your park. Usually tycoon games like this don't have co-op multiplayer mode, so that's an interesting addition. Now, there is also staff management, as you've got to keep your lifeguards and other workers and members of staff paid and doing their jobs. And there's also various scenarios which you can face as challenges. Now, this one is planning for a release in 2026, but at the time of recording, there is also a free demo that you can try out. So for Aquapark Tycoon, you can try it yourself and see if this is one you want to dip your toes into. Next up, we have Monsterest. This is a game where you are running a monster-friendly inn. Every day, a new monster guest comes to visit to stay at your little B&B type thing. But this is also a bit of a life sim resource management game where you're going around chopping trees, but then you use those trees to make furniture and decorate your rooms and expand your rest stop, really. Satisfied monster guests will come back next time, and you can also then go around catching fish, hunting, and preparing meals for the maybe not too scary creatures that live within your abode. So you assign a room to a guest and they stay around and enjoy the facilities. You can hang out with them and they can even follow you along on walks in the woods together, or you could throw a party to liven things up. But generally, this is just a chill, calming, relaxing business tycoon game where you are essentially running a hotel, but it's really small scale. So you are building your structure and managing all of this stuff, but really it's a life sim tycoon mix. Obviously, there's some inspirations from Stardew Valley and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you are handling an inn in Monsterest. Now, this is still in development, but there is a free demo right now. The demo is getting patches as well as time goes on. So full release is a little unclear as to when that will be, but you can just give it a try right now and see if you want to be waiting for the release of Monsterest. Then I'm gonna mention one that people always remind me of, Big Ambitions. We have listed this before, and it is continuing through early access with very positive user reviews, over 90% positive. People really do enjoy Big Ambitions. This is a role-playing business sim, as it calls itself, and you play this character, an entrepreneur in New York, and you're opening small businesses and manufacturing plants and various things like that as you slowly build up your corporations as you see fit. This is an overall business sandbox, and you're growing any business you like in the city. It can be a single shop, a chain of fast food restaurants, a huge corporation, or you could do a web design business, all sorts of things. You are a business magnate here. And the whole promise here is that it is super in-depth. You can take loans, rent buildings, design the logo, renovate the store. You gotta acquire stock, you gotta manage your money, you gotta deal with staff, you gotta build your own infrastructure. This is business from the ground up, but it is also a life sim kind of game where you need to play this character. You need food, you need to manage your own home, you have to have a refrigerator to store that food. It's life sim plus business tycoon management. It's living your corporate dream, I guess it is, but how you want to live it. So obviously the promise and expectations here are huge. So far, going through early access, which it entered earlier on in 2023, is going well. People do enjoy it. The initial estimate was to spend up to 2 years in early access before its full release. We have now passed that mark, and we're now approaching 3+ years. But there are signs that it is planning for a full release, and that is something that is quite plausible for Big Ambitions in 2026. On an even smaller scale, Leafy Corner. Okay, so this is a tycoon game where you are running a plant shop, and I have been always into plants and gardening, and running a plant shop always seems like a charming little idea. Though it's a bit risky in real life doing that, so do it in Leafy Corner. This one is planning for a release in Q3 of 2026, and you create your character, and then you open a business to sell plants, and you take care of the plants, and you grow them, and you sell them, and you help customers find their dream plants. You'll be completing orders and customizing your shop and building it up in a way that you really want. Now, at the time of recording, they haven't really shown too much of the game exactly. It is still going through development right now, and it does promise building and decorating your shop with a variety of pots, furniture, decoration options, and expansions and stuff like that. But in terms of how buildy this game is, it is seemingly more on the smaller, lighter scale. The focus is the tycoon business management of your actual plant shop itself. It seems like a nice, charming little thing that you might be interested in. Mars Attracts. I cannot believe this brand has something new. Who could have guessed a Mars Attacks game would be made today? And as a theme park sim as well. Mars Attracts is a simulation game where you build an attraction on Mars, hence the name, filled with human-themed curiosities to cure the monotony of Martian life. Like in a zoo-styled builder, you'll be constructing detailed enclosures, managing staff, and most importantly, don't you forget to abduct and experiment on humans for the entertainment of your alien guests. Well, I guess from this perspective, the humans are the aliens? Theme park sims are a constantly popular type of game, but visually this one does look a bit simpler. However, the theme alone, if executed rightly, could be enough of a hook by itself for us nostalgic gamers. Does this mean we gotta rewatch the old movie before jumping in? Probably not, but it might help with getting into the game, as it has been a long time since. There's been a free demo on Steam, so you can hop in for a quick look. Otherwise, Mars Attracts is going into early access, and it's planning to be in early access for up to 12 months. Which, if they stick to that, it'll be 2026 for a full release, but you can begin building your human exhibition much sooner. Going a bit more commercial, Hotel Architect. Designing and building a hotel set in the middle of metropolis across the world. Your job here also involves managing the chaos of catering to demanding guests and dealing with logistical nightmares. Hotel rooms, services, spas, conference rooms, pools, and more are up to you to construct, and it's a tycoon game, so profit is a priority. There's a career mode if you like the campaign style, but of course a game like this has sandbox mode as well. Either way, your cozy or complex accommodation will be judged by hospitality reviewers, and keeping those visitors along with your staff happy is going to be key to scoring those stars. Hotel Architect entered early access in the middle of the year to a few hundred but very positive user reviews so far. We're talking over 90% positive. So for those who have been taking up the mantle of hotel owner, have been enjoying their time. Updates are regular enough for its beginning. Having said that, it's also aiming for up to 12 months in early access, so 2026 at the earliest for a full release if you prefer to wait before checking in. And then we have Dragon's Brew. This is where you run and set up a board game cafe. You craft food and drinks and you deliver your orders to the townsfolk and you collect board games and you can customize the space and you really build up your board game cafe to be the best it can be. But there's a lot more to this game than just your cafe. You can actually explore the town, go to shops, grow plants and stuff like that, and explore and find out everything there is to do with this world. It's promising over 100 food and drink items. The board game collections can have over 100 plus types of board games, and you can grow and source ingredients to craft recipes for your own cafe. And of course, you can customize the cafe to your heart's content. The town itself is called Pebblebrook, and you can uncover stories with the NPCs, you can form friendships, and of course, there are hidden secrets in Purplebrook and beyond. So this is also combining life sim and tycoon business management in a way that seems to be relatively popular, and it's a charming, cozy, relaxing kind of game, which does seem to have its own unique approach to the whole formula. Dragon's Brew is looking for a release in Q4 of 2026, but there is also a free demo right now that you can just try as well. So if you're unsure about Dragon's Brew, you can just try the free demo and then see if this is another game that you want to anticipate its full release later in the year. And then for a big name in the tycoon genre, Tavern Keeper. This one is highly anticipated because it's by Greenheart Games, and if you don't know that name, they're the ones that did Game Dev Tycoon, which is a game from 2013, and it was massively popular. About 40,000 user reviews on Steam at 95% positive. Game Dev Tycoon was a viral hit. Now, Tavern Keeper is their new game, and it's supposed to be a cozy, chaotic management sim, but they really do bring a lot more to this game this time around. So you are managing Tycoon, but you are also building up your tavern, and there's a few things that I think I should point out here. So first of all, you are managing the business in the business tycoon way. You buy ales and food ingredients, and you serve your customers with drinks and stuff from the kitchen. But the customization is where Tavern Keeper kind of sets itself apart. You can not only customize your own furnitures, objects, items to really design your own stuff in an item object editor, which then you can share with the community as well. You can really customize everything in that regard. You can also customize dishes and the foodstuffs from the ingredients you can import. And then your tavern itself can be customized with all of this stuff as well. Now, besides that, there is also this very elaborate and developed narrative system. where there's a storyteller which does voice acting and everything, and they bring you through a story of your business, expanding through the different regions. There's a lot of story beats and narrative elements. There are dialogue choices which you can then make and sometimes succeed and sometimes fail, but the game kind of tells you that failure is not a bad thing, it just takes the story down a different way, but there is a bit of a reroll system as well. So there's a lot to Tavern Keeper. Now, visually, the thing that kind of threw people off a little bit are the lack of arms, which is a cartoony approach, but I guess it solves some animation problems. I mean, it's a bit of a weird look, but you get used to it, and so far, Tavern Keeper has been going through early access with 95% overwhelmingly positive user reviews on Steam. So it entered early access and people are loving it. They're planning to stay in early access for up to a year, so they are aiming for a 2026 full release. So far, Tavern Keeper looks to be maybe one of the best tycoon games upcoming right now. For a game that's sort of like Zoo Tycoon, but fantasy, Fantastic Haven. Here you are restoring the equilibrium of magic by saving endangered fantasy creatures. You're building up your sanctuary, a shelter to welcome and protect these animals, and you're exploring unique regions, rallying neighboring populations to your cause, and rehabilitating creatures into their natural environments. This one hasn't quite fully released yet, but however, there is a free demo that you can check out right now, so what the game is building up to is not a secret. You can just jump in and try it. And there are a lot of people that are excited for this one because, you know, the whole Zoo Tycoon, creature collecting, building management kind of game is always popular. And a fantasy setting is an interesting enough twist to it, especially when there's this overarching goal of restoring the magic to the world. This seems to be turning out okay. However, you're gonna have to want to be into the cozy, cute aesthetic as well, which many are, but just that's what this game is. Fantastic Haven. If you're into the art style, it looks visually great, and although free demos are not fully representative of final gameplay, it's always nice that there are free demos, and that's a plus point for this one. Frontier Developments has announced that they're working on Planet Zoo 2. This is a recent announcement, so we don't have any real hard evidence or statistics or confirmation of specifics at this time. But Planet Zoo, if you don't know, it's a theme park simulation game where you are building up a zoo and managing animals. And it might sound a bit soon, considering how Jurassic World Evolution 3 from Frontier just released. But if you see Planet Coaster 2 released towards the end of 2024, then Jurassic World Evolution 3 released towards the end of 2025, it does seem to follow their one game a year plan that they've been following, where Planet Zoo 2 could be Q4 2026. The announcement video that they put out does heavily suggest 2026 for Planet Zoo 2, and that means that this is probably one of the most, if not the most hyped simulation game for 2026, but we'll have to see if it really is a 2026 game and what people think about this moving forward. But I thought I should mention Planet Zoo 2 is on the way, maybe for the end of 2026. And there you go, there was a bunch of tycoon business simulation games which have building in them, at least a little bit, but many a lot. And it's really that genre where you can build up from almost nothing and then expand your business for as big as you want it to be. There's some unique ones here. Which one was your favorite? And if you have any other suggestions, leave a comment down below to share with everyone else. We're always looking for new games, and with thousands of upcoming simulation games, we of course can't fit everything everywhere. But hopefully this helped you find something interesting and or useful. If you'd like to support the video, just click the like button down below, subscribe for more. There are a bunch of other list videos that you can see on screen right now. And you can use the GOG referral link down below to buy anything on there and support this channel, or support on Patreon or become a member, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.